divided world led by glances, nods, and handshakes. Tons of papers, wars, crime, secrets, corruption, money. No consequences. April 3rd, 2016. The hashtag Panama Papers topped Twitter on Sunday afternoon. The scandal broke the internet. In a few minutes, all social networks were filled with plenty of pictures, comments, and opinions criticizing the situation and pointing at important politicians, business people, and celebrities from all over the world. Well, not all over the world. There was no information about any American politicians involved, and there was a reason for that. Panama Papers have become the world's largest data leak in history. With more than 11 million files, the data includes emails, financial spreadsheets, passport details, and corporate accounts for more than 214,000 offshore companies, linked to people in over 200 countries and territories worldwide. These so-called shell companies enable their owners to cover up their business, no matter how shady. That means that they can launder money, evade taxes, and avoid sanctions, and nobody would have ever known. That doesn't mean that a person with a shell company has committed these crimes, but it reveals how the rich and powerful use tax havens to hide their wealth, which opens up a lot of questions, even though shell companies are not illegal themselves. Officially, the data, allegedly connected to the Panamanian law firm Mossack Fonseca, was leaked by an unknown source to the German newspaper Süddeutsche Zeitung, who shared them with the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists. A one-year-long investigation that apparently started with an anonymous message to the German reporter Bastian Obermeier. The way it was investigated with almost 400 journalists over a period of 1 year, as well as how the communication has been between both parts, has spurred suspicion about the untruthfulness of the information that already is being more and more questioned, and all suggests that the official story is nothing but a tiny part of what really happened.
In the beginning, after the leak, everyone was so excited about the investigation in the office. Working day and night, decoding information and finding connections with some of the most important world leaders. We knew this was going to blow up like a bomb. But we never supported the wrongdoing and the manipulation of the data. Our main priority has always been inform the citizens about what is going on in the world. In my name and the name of the Süddeutsche Zeitung, we say sorry for what has happened while working on this leak.
Nach einiger Zeit, ich denke, Sie verstehen, wenn ich dabei keinen Namen nenne, haben wir angefangen, ein komisches Gefühl bei der Sache zu entwickeln. Wir hatten wirklich eine komische Vorahnung davon, was passieren könnte. Unglücklicherweise, denke ich, hatten wir zu dem Zeitpunkt noch keine Ahnung von den gigantischen Ausmaßen dieser Manipulation der ganzen Angelegenheit. Aber dann hörten wir eines Tages Bastian in seinem Büro, wie er ein relativ heftiges Telefonat hatte. Er war übrigens auch derjenige, der das Leak erhalten hat und der einzige bisher, der Kontakt zu John Doe hatte.
Some of the documents that we are checking, they look different from the others. It was really strange because if you are a serious company, as Mossack Fonseca is, the documents would normally look alike over the same templates. but some of them had different patterns.
Apparently, the Süddeutsche Zeitung and the ICIJ were working with manipulated data during the whole investigation, but they had no idea about its magnitude. During the investigation, some journalists found strange patterns in the templates that others didn't, and informed Bastian Obermeier, who allegedly had received the anonymous leak and was in charge of the case. 3 of the journalists working on the leak heard Bastian Obermeier on the phone after a meeting with some of the journalists of the ICIJ working in Germany.
Obermeier war sehr besorgt am Telefon, als er mit jemandem sprach. Wir hatten damals schon vor längerer Zeit bemerkt, dass die Dokumente unterschiedliche Muster aufwiesen, Unregelmäßigkeiten, die wir nicht erklären konnten. Er sprach mit der Person am Telefon darüber und er fing an zu schrien. Wie kannst du nicht im Besitz der Originaldokumente sein? Weißt du nicht, wie groß das Ganze ist? Er war wirklich außer sich, wir konnten es im ganzen Büro hören. Er sagte, ich werde deine wahre Identität preisgeben und ich werde deinen Namen sagen. Alle werden hinter dir her sein. Er solle besser vorsichtig sein.
We trusted him. He's been a role model in the newspaper, and we would have never expected something like this. That just didn't make sense. What was he thinking about? Did he know who the source was from the beginning? So, all the story about John Doe and the messages he received, the conversation he showed us, that was just a hoax.
An diesem Punkt haben wir selbst angefangen, Nachforschung anzustellen, was mit den Panama Papers passiert war und wer dieser John Doe wirklich war. Glücklicherweise waren wir in der Lage, die Telefonnummer herauszufinden, bevor sie jemand löschen konnte. Es war eine amerikanische Nummer, aber als wir da anriefen, mit unterdrückter Nummer, meldete sich ein Mann mit starkem spanischem Akzent.
Patrick Hoffmann and the other 2 journalists who wanted to keep their identities secret went to the US and scheduled a meeting with the source.
I didn't want to appear in any media. I really thought it was a good thing to do. I worked almost 10 years for Mossack Fonseca, and he kicked me out for no reason. I didn't hack anything, I'm just a computer technician. I was working with the data, and keeping it was my job. Almost 2 years after leaving Mossack Fonseca, I moved to the States. And during the move, I found all the data and some old external memories. I started investigating them, and I found some very dangerous information. I kept it, but I wasn't going to make it public. Until a man, some months later, he came to my office and he offered me the opportunity to give him the data and promised me protection. He talked to me about Bastian Obermeier, a journalist from the Süddeutsche Zeitung. My first thought was, yeah, okay, it's fair. They kicked me out and this is going to be my revenge. I never thought about all these consequences. When all the journalists started investigating it, I tried to convince myself that this was a good idea and people involved had to pay for what they did. What I didn't know was that the files I had before, they weren't the ones that the journalists were investigating. After 5 months, 3 journalists came and they asked me about differences in patterns. But I had deleted the data after everyone else had it, and I thought it was no longer necessary. They showed me some of the documents. Some of them were completely fake. And there were even documents you couldn't tell the difference between fake or not. There was also a very, very confusing point about the United States. There was no information that involved any person from there. Everything was gone.
Also, wir flogen nach Amerika, um uns persönlich erst einmal mit der Quelle zu treffen und mit ihr über die manipulierten Daten zu sprechen. Er erzählte uns von einem Mann, der ihn ermutigt hatte, die Daten an die involvierten amerikanischen Politiker weiterzugeben. Nichts davon ergab einen Sinn. Nach einigen Monaten an Untersuchungen, die wir in den Fall investierten, fanden wir eine Quelle, die zu dem Mann in Verbindung stand und die mit uns reden wollte.
According to the source, a friend of Bastian Obermeier, who worked in Mossack Fonseca, made a comment during a dinner about some American politicians, including 5 members of the House of Representatives that were involved in a corruption network. Obermeier started to investigate and took a flight to the US.
Sie erzählte uns, dass Obermeier während der 3. Woche einen Anruf erhielt, in dem es um ein Treffen gehen sollte mit einer Vertrauensperson eines bekannten Senators, der ihm erzählen wollte, was vorgefallen war. Doch stattdessen bot ihm der Mann eine riesige Datenmenge über Briefkastenfirmen an. 2,6 Terabyte. Sie müssen sich vorstellen, eine unglaubliche Datenmenge. 2,6 Terabyte, in denen die Namen nicht nur von Berühmtheiten oder Geschäftsmännern genannt wurden, sondern auch die Namen von Politikern und von Präsidenten. Die einzige Voraussetzung, die er dabei machte, war, den Namen des Senators wegzulassen und die ganze Angelegenheit zu vergessen.
I guess he accepted the deal after seeing how big the data was and all what was involved. He was investigating a really huge case, but Panama Papers, it's another leak. He had in his hands the biggest leak ever in the history of journalism, even bigger than WikiLeaks or Snowden case.
What the source didn't know, and now is going to be public thanks to these employees, is that some of this information was modified by whoever had this data before, and that there are people included in the leak that had nothing to do with shell companies or tax havens.
They actually had what they wanted, so why put in the false information in the leak? The names of politicians involved wouldn't appear on the list anyway. It could be they needed to divert the attention just in case their names came out, but maybe it was planned from the very beginning.
Some of the world leaders and important people involved have already denied their relation with the leak. Some of the victims of the false information introduced have been Mauricio Macri, who was linked to an offshore company, as well as Vladimir Putin, who dismissed Panama Papers as an attempt to destabilize Russia.